Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So I'm sure most of you have heard about the Titanic submarine implosion. It's an event that everyone's been talking about over the past week or so, and if you want the full details and the timeline of events leading up until now, you can look at my previous video that I made 2 days ago. It's listed in the description. But to make a very long story short, a billionaire builds a submarine with the intent of hosting tours of the ruins of the Titanic, and then 4 people buy tickets to take one of these tours. And last Sunday, they leave for that excursion, and an hour and 45 minutes into their departure, they lose contact. And over the next couple of days, people are searching. It becomes a very popular news story, and everyone's wondering what happened to this submarine. And as it turns out, when it went black, so to speak, that hour and 45 minute mark was when the submarine imploded and instantaneously killed all 5 members on board. It's been an event everyone's been talking about, but the one thing that I find interesting that we have talked about on this channel, it's brought up the concept of when does a joke go too far? You know, when does dark humor about human tragedy go too far? And in my previous video, I used this tweet from the Vtuber Bao. It was one that was already drawing a lot of controversy, and quite frankly, yes, it is a edgier joke, but it's really quite tame if you think about it. She is not mocking the deaths of the people from that submarine. She's simply pointing fun at the fact that they used a video game controller to pilot the vessel. That's all, but it caused a lot of controversy, and honestly, the quotes and negative reactions have quadrupled since my previous video. And the thing that I find very interesting is, like, I don't have a problem with people being offended by jokes like this or related ones, because that's kind of the whole point of edgier jokes, is to offend people, right? But what I find interesting is the blatant hypocrisy of VTubers on this subject. The usual people who are promoting safe spaces and will try to cancel and deplatform other people over jokes that are made with the slightest bit of edge, they make posts mocking the deaths of these passengers that are way, way darker and edgier than anything like this that we're looking at. They are openly mocking and celebrating the deaths of these passengers, and the only reason, their justification for celebrating these deaths and even saying they are a good thing for the benefit of the world, is that the passengers were wealthy. Well, this tweet right here really captures all of that. This is a VTuber finding a very strange hill to die on. So let's read what they said. Is it morally correct to poke fun at billionaires who died? Yes. The amount of blood on their hands by just being a billionaire is actually absurd. Anyway, funny meme, the ultra rich deserve any consequence they court because they're the cause of a lot of life's suffering. This sounds like that teenager who thinks he's really smart and figured out the world. That's exactly what that kind of person sounds like. But let's look at the meme. It says, this is a person. This is a billionaire. And it's a picture of their VTuber model and the funny Rocket Man. So it says, know the difference. One deserves rights and the other does not. Yeah, I don't think it's exactly very nice to believe someone doesn't deserve rights based on their wealth. And to not get into too many technicalities here, this is not a person, this is a VTuber model. I hope that helps. But yeah, they are trying to mock this situation and basically say that the people on board didn't deserve anything. They don't even deserve rights because they are wealthy. And what I find very odd about this meme in particular is that they used Elon Musk. Why are you using him in this situation? Like, is he living rent-free in your head or something? Let me remind you whose platform you're tweeting this on right now. You are actively supporting this billionaire by being here. I don't care what justification you have for being on Twitter. You are actively supporting this man you claim doesn't even deserve the right to live. And for some reason you include him. When it comes to the passengers who died on the submarine, there's really only one person I think most people don't feel too sorry for, and that is the owner. He is a billionaire who, in this process of making the sub, clearly cut a lot of corners when it came to safety. That is a person you would put right here. That was your only opportunity. But again, he's a good focus. But the other people on board, you know, these people who don't deserve rights and we can celebrate for dying, What are you talking about? You're talking about the scientist that was on board? Are you talking about the self-made men on there who worked really hard and were also philanthropists who gave away a lot of their money to those in need? Or are you talking about the 19-year-old son who was on board and he was only there for the sole purpose of supporting his father and his interest in exploration? Okay, do you think they all deserve to die? You think they had no deserving of human rights? It's absolutely absurd to me that people think like this. And here's the thing that makes it even worse. This is their previous tweets. They're, of course, involved in the Hogwarts Legacy-related harassment campaign. They said this about Pippa simply streaming Hogwarts Legacy. What the F, dude? This is pathetic and hard pandering to right-wing hate mentality, and it's sickening. Yes, someone playing a video game is pathetic and sickening behavior, but mocking the deaths of innocent people is totally justified because they're wealthy. Like, you gotta be kidding me, right? But people would point this out, right? Hating someone for their economic status is classist, Momika. And they reply, that's fine, I am classist against the rich. Yeah, call me crazy. I don't think we should treat people differently based on the amount of money they have. Shocking statement there, but that's my personal thoughts. But of course, when you say I'm classist against the rich, what is rich? Because one man's rich is another man's poor, right? So this person asks, how much money do you consider rich? And the VTuber responds, people who are like landlords and 100 millionaires, and more specifically billionaires, people who hoard wealth to a point of harm against all society for their own effing greed. First of all, landlords? You think landlords are the ultra wealthy? Let me just remind you, your rent's due on the 1st, and I'm sorry you're upset about that, but no sane person would lump landlords in with billionaires. Like, it just shows this person has no idea how the world works. But yeah, this disparity, I guess, how many hundreds of millions does it take? When do you exactly lose your rights as a human being because of your wealth? Not quite sure, but this whole idea of blaming billionaires for the actions of other billionaires, that might be bad, right? Let's not be oblivious to the situation. Obviously, there's billionaires out there who have blood on their hands. They've done bad things, unethical things, illegal things to gain their wealth. But also, there's a lot of billionaires and a lot of wealthy people who just worked hard. They worked hard to gain their fortune, and they shouldn't be responsible and mocked and ridiculed in their death or even celebrated for their death just because there's some bad actors among the wealthy. That's insane. Like, please be consistent, okay? Let's just read this. Imagine. So they blame the actions of some wealthy people on all wealthy people, and they still say this. This is from the Hogwarts Legacy harassment campaign, by the way, for context. It's really sad how unsurprising it is that so many people are sending death threats and encouraging suicide because of the Pikami thing. I don't know how to explain that we as a community are not responsible for the actions of a few people in that community. If you think that we are, that's like saying all white people are responsible for the actions of white cops that murder people every day. It's overwhelmingly sad to see how many people think this is some kind of war when it's literally just basic human respect. Yeah, talking about not lumping people in to a group based on a few bad actors from that community. Does that sound familiar? Yes, because they just did that with all these wealthy people and lump in terrible, greedy, actually bad people with a 19-year-old kid on a submarine to basically hang out with his father. And then we talk about basic human respect. I think it's basic human respect to not celebrate the deaths of random people, random innocent people from across the world that you don't even know. That's very eyebrow-raising behavior if you can actually feel enough to celebrate and feel good about their deaths. Again, you can poke fun at kind of the absurdity of some of the details of the entire event. That's totally fine. But my God, like when you get to the point where you're actually celebrating and considering this a good thing for the world, you've lost me, okay? But it goes on, okay? I just want to point this out. So they're so upset about these terrible people, right? These terrible people on this vessel that represented greed and suffering of many. They have a whole ass breakdown here about being called a V-tweeter. And I got news for you. Like, I looked around your profile. I couldn't find a single link to any account other than this Twitter account. Like, you very well might have content out there, but it sounds like your most important focus is tweeting. So I see how that would strike a nerve, but don't you see the irony of getting so upset about a term like V-tweeter being used to call people, and yet you feel so comfortable celebrating the deaths of innocent people? Like, give me a break. But there's more people down here, other VTubers chiming in on this post saying, I'll care about billionaires when they start caring about the masses they exploited in order to become billionaires. Again, this person's mind would be blown when they find out that a lot of wealthy people just worked hard and got lucky. But you're literally sitting here as a Twitter Blue subscriber. You paid for Twitter. You paid this guy money. This guy's a billionaire. This is the Rocket Man here. You supported him, and yet you come on here and cry about this situation and saying that you'll care about billionaires when they stop exploiting people. Well, I guess you're getting exploited because you're actively supporting him. But apparently this is also the partner of the original VTuber we were looking at. This is the tweet they made after their partner made their meme. It says, every time I see people saying how insufferable or frustrating VTubers are for their weird bad takes and pick-me posts and parasocial stuff, instead of being offended, I just go, LOL, true. And if that's not how you feel, maybe consider why you feel targeted by those statements. Yes, many VTubers are shitty people, even extremely bad. The anonymity empowers bad people. But that doesn't mean you or I are bad people. Just focus on being a good person yourself. It's not that hard, I promise. Yeah, quite ironic. And it's even more ironic that that was made after they retweeted their partner's meme here. Yeah, it's so easy to be a good person. We all know, and talking about anonymity, we all know these people would not say these things in real life, face to face. They would not have the nerve to say that these people didn't have rights and it was good that they died because they were ultra rich. There's no way they would do that, but I think you guys get the point. There's been a whole lot of hypocrisy and just all around vile behavior surrounding this event. And really, we're seeing kind of the line from where edgy jokes and observations become something much darker and eyebrow-raising. And I think we have some good examples of that today. But that's going to do it for this video. Please let me know all your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.